All right, we live. Lafayette Mandala, Bibi Fahoudie. It's your favorite warrior, Blak Pantha, in the building, excuse me. Coming at you with another presentation today. Make sure everything's up and running. Okay, it's up and running on the YouTube. Peace to the family. Peace to everybody tuning in. I wanted to give this quick little presentation. We're not going to be on here long today. What I want to cover is the rain queens of South Africa, particularly the Balobedu people. Brother Kofi on here with me today. He's making a phone call, so he'll come on later. Hopefully, Brother Sean will join us. If not, we're going to keep it rocking and rolling. Going in the chat real quick. Peace, Brother Bordini. Peace, Sister Juliana. Lafayette, Baby Fahoudie. Peace, Overstand Daily TV. So, without further ado, well, before I start, man, I just want to speak real quick, about character, man. Character in African traditions is essential. It's important. It may be one of the most important things, if not the most important thing. So in your daily lives, it's important to exhibit character. It's important to do what you say. It's important to say what you mean. It's important to be a good listener. It's important not to disrespect people. It's important to not lie. It's important to treat people with simple human kindness, or Ubuntu, as people in South Africa say. So it's important. It's very important. So just keep that in your mind as you're navigating through your everyday life. And I just wanted to share that with y'all, man. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to get it popping, man. If somebody in the chat room, if y'all can see me screen sharing, somebody let me know, please. Oh, I can see it. Never mind. Yeah, it definitely is sharing screen. Yeah, all right, so we're going to get to it. Let's do it. All right. The Balobedu people and the Rain Queens by myself, Blak Pantha, a.k.a. Ifadele Akinloye Egulana Olabakinde Adebanke. But if you don't feel like saying all that, just call me Blak Pantha. So, who are the Balobedu people? They are a Southern African tribe and an ethnic group in Northern Soto group. They're initially known as the Bakwebo, which means the wild pigs. The name Balobedu means place of tribute. Hence, the Balobedu are people who receive tribute from others. So this is a very prestigious clan where people bring tributes to them because of their power in their land. They have their own kingdom, the Balobedu kingdom, within the Limpopo province of South Africa, with a female ruler, the Rain Queen Mojaji. The Lobedu kingdom comprises of over 150 villages. That's powerful right there. Each has a head man who represents the Mojaji, or the Rain Queen. So this particular African group has a queen as a king and has men that speak for her in the villages. The central Lobedu tribal village is Chez Lacombe. Sidney Miller, an archaeologist of South Africa, excavated the ruins of the original royal kraal at Lebwang. Now, a kraal is like a place where people stay. It's like a house. The archaeological finds include stone foundations and pottery. These ruins also bear resemblance to those discovered in the Thulamela near Pafuri in the north of the Kruger National Park, as well as the Great Zimbabwe ruins in southern eastern Zimbabwe. This lends credibility to the many legends about the origins of the Balobedu kingdom. And we're about to go into those origins right now. The Balobedu originally migrated from South Zimbabwe to their present location in South Africa. The central tribal village is Kethakonge in the district of Balobedu. This Kalanga migrants consisted of the Mokwebo, who are the ancestors of the wild pigs, like Mamabolo, Ramafalo, and Mojaji, the Ingwin Hulu, who are the ancestors of the elephant clans, and the Ramabulana ancestors of the elephant clans, as well as the Dilu, who are the uncles of the Inkingwe Hulu. All Balobedu are descended from these three groups. The Balobedu have their own way of praising and talking to their God. It is through a method called Dihungula. Dihungula is where they sit next to a traditionally designed circle in their homes and start calling the names of their ancestors. This is done as a means of ancestral veneration and to gain favor with their progenitors. Now, people that have been listening to me for a while, I keep saying this over and over and over. In most, if not all African traditions, you will find belief in a supreme being. You will find ritual of some type of aspect, the worship of natural forces, and ancestor veneration. So this is just another way that they venerate their ancestors. But if you notice here, by calling their names of their ancestors, they say that's like talking to their God. So that's very interesting. The Balobedu have their own traditional dances called Kek Hapa for the women and Dinaka for the men. The Dinaka is a traditional dance of all Northern Soto speaking people covering such areas as Gashek, Hukun, and Gadikala, as well as Balobedu. Now, this is the empire that the Balobedu people rule. Now, listen to this. The founder of the Rozvi Empire, Shangamiri Dombo, has been linked to supernatural abilities according to oral tradition. It has been asserted that the Shangmiri was gifted with the ability to change the color of cattle. It has also been asserted, according to oral tradition, that he was also gifted with rain-making abilities. Oral tradition asserts that Damo was a charismatic figure and character trait that contributed immensely to the strength of the Rozvi army. Debates among historians have risen time and time again concerning the assumed power of Changamiri. The term Rozvi refers to the legacy as a warrior nation known as plunder. In 1693, the Portuguese militia tried to take control of the gold trade in the interior of Africa by invading the Rozvi Empire. The Rozvi were able to successfully defeat these attacks and maintain their control of the gold mines until the empire collapsed. The Rozvi were led by Shangamiri Dombo and his son Kambungun Dombo, armed with sharp stones whose power was based in Buta in the southwest of Africa. So these people are kind of the predecessors before the Balobedu people. But you see, even in their predecessors, their king had rain-making abilities. So we're going to get more into that. The Rain Queen origin. When Rain Queen mother first arrived in the village, her great-great-great-grandmother arrived in 1998. Her elders told her that her way and her meaning of her path was ancestral. She would never have been able to find her way home if not for the fact that her ancestors had guided her there and had already accepted her as one of them. They also told her that she was lucky to come from two royal families in Ghana and Burkina Faso. During the 13-year initiation path, Rain Queen Mother had not only been fully recognized as being a bosom imba by her elders in divination, but she also received a sacred recognition from other medicine elders, diviners, holy people around the world. After the first 7 years of her initiation, her ancestors comprised her to continue her initiation by traveling around the world to search for medicines and ceremonies to cure her own and other people of the world. Because of the Dagba, people have lost some of our ritual ceremonial medicines during the 500 years of slavery, colonization, and Christianization, Islamization, and modernization. During her travels and her quests and journeys to search for healing and ceremonial medicines, Rain Queen Mother received an important recognition from the indigenous elders around the world. The elders and chiefs of the Dagba people recognized her as a Rain Queen Mother and a great-great-great-great-granddaughter of the Queen Mother who became a Sa Wigin, which is a Dagba mountain deity. At the end of her life, they gave her the name Poa Na, which means a living human female treasure who is wealthy and is a universal of knowledge and is someone who is treasured for knowing and living and healing by the laws of the universe to a huge degree. They also told her that she was a born healer, philosopher, teacher, and state diviner. A state diviner is someone who can divine into the state or her nation in relation to other nations in the world. This differs from the objectives of a personal diviner. With these gifts, her ancestors gave her the job of learning about all the problems that were going on in the world, helping people who have become lost in various diasporas to find their indigenous ways, and to help the souls of the people who have died violently in the wars of slavery, colonization, to cross over into the upper worlds. I put this in here because I wanted to paint the picture that it's not just the Balobedu people that have rain queens, even though that's the topic of today. This particular rain queen is from Ghana and Burkina Faso. But in her tradition, the Dagba, they also have rain queens. So I want to paint a picture of how revered the rain queens are in different parts of Africa. As you can see, she's a very, very big deal, not only in her village, but in other villages around the world. So I know what most people are wondering about this point. Why do they have queens and they don't have any kings? Well, I want you to fasten your seatbelts before I read this. This is one of those things that may rub some people the wrong way. But here at the Mossi Warrior Clan, we don't hide history. Our African traditions is not perfect. Our African traditions are not innocent. We can only tell the narratives in which we research. So here it is. During the latter part of the 1580s, the somewhat peaceful kingdom experienced an upheaval when the son of a king, Mono Motapa, had a relationship with one of his sisters, Duzugun Dini, that produced an heir according to the custom. The old king wanted to avoid at all costs a civil war in his kingdom, so he gave his daughter Duzungundini a magic horn with the necessary medicines to make it rain and to defend her against any enemies. So historians believe by giving the secret to his daughter, he also banished her from his kingdom. Mother and her illegitimate child fled to the south from present-day Zimbabwe and established a new kingdom further south towards South Africa, which is now the Balobedu people. For the next 200 years, the tribe of Dzungundini built a substantial territory and increased their power amongst their lesser tribes. During the later part of the 1800s, then the chief Mugodu was warned by the ancestral spirits of a plot by his own sons to overthrow him. To fulfill the desires of the spirits, he had all of his sons killed and told his daughter that according to the wishes of the spirits, he must marry her on his deathbed. By doing this, he ensured that a new heir to his throne would be a queen, and thus a new dynasty of a woman was found. When the new queen gave birth to the son that was fathered by her own father, he was strangled at birth. Her second child was a girl, and she signaled the start of a female dynasty. This was the first Mojaji, and ever since, the queen lives in complete seclusion in the forest where she practices age-old secret rituals to make it rain. So that's a hell of a story, right? I don't know if it's a mythological story or if it's a historical story. But either way, this is the story of why they have queens and no kings. The extent of their power. The Lobedu have female rulers known as rain queens. The queen is believed to have powers to make it rain. The Balobedu kingdom consists of a number of small groups tied together by their queen. The rain queen was historically known an extremely powerful magician, who was able to bring rain to her friends and drought to her enemies. Visitors to the area brought her gifts and tributes, including cattle and their daughters as wives, though their role is more akin to those of what the West would call ladies in waiting. So let me say that now that I get to that part. The queen has wives. There's a certain number of wives that we'll go over later, but they're basically in a platonic sense. As the parenthesis says, they're more like her servants. Okay, to appease her, so that she would bring rain to their regions. So that's why they brought the tributes. The name Lobedu is thought to derive from this practice, referring to the daughters or sisters who were lost to their families. The rain queen extends her influence through her wives because they link her politically to other families or villages. On the political front, the rain queen has always held a special place of respect amongst African leaders, including the great Zulu king Shaka, who respected her and once needed her help with a big drought in Zululand. Mojaji is thought to have been the only other person apart from the late volatile president Laurent Kabila of the Congo to keep Nelson Mandela waiting during a meeting. When the meeting did take place during 1994, he spoke to her only when spoken to and only through an intermediary. So the rain queens do not directly speak to anybody, if you kind of got that by now. So she speaks through her wives and she speaks through her men that rule the different regions. So few people have ever even heard her voice. That's just how they do it. So this is a video, and because you hear things that I've said, the power to make it rain or whatever. So I will let.
If I say now, make it begin. I will begin there. If I say stop, we stop. My name is Godwin and yesterday. Rempucha.
In parts of Africa, stories are told of veil makers. I am Nduka Ojinmo, and I have come to Ifitedunu village in Anambra State of Southeast Nigeria to be the man who claims to make a living, being able to control the rain. His rainmaking skills come at a price. He's asked for some cola nuts, 2 crates of beer, this specific gin. Now he says that once we've given him all these items, then he'll be able to make the rain fall. Would he be able to? Let's find out. Rainmakers claim to be able to both make it rain and keep the rain away, and are often paid by those who want their events to stay dry. Within the 2 hours it promised, we had rain.
So it wasn't a massive downpour like we're expecting. It wasn't a huge rain, but we did see the rain come down. We had the rainmaker who put his reputation on the line.
Of course, this is an area where it often rains at this time of the year. And it's true, the forecast for the day was showers. There's no science behind the rainman. But there was something very mysterious about Godwin and his methods. You can see why some people believe in him. Experts say no one can control the weather. So I think I will stick to my weather app because it's free.
Okay, so you see that video, and that was passed around. That was through BBC where I found it. But again, rainmakers are not uncommon in Africa. You see that brother was in Nigeria. We got another brother in Ghana. I mean, the sister that was in Ghana and Burkina Faso. And now we're talking about South Africa. So this is something that you will see in different customs and cultures. So I'll let you be the judge on that video. So this is the Rain Queen Protocol. To reinforce the legend of miraculous rainmaking powers, one only needs to visit the royal house of Mojaji to be convinced. Located at the top of the splendid hills, and they are surrounded by a parched and somewhat drier region around her seat of power, is the Mojaji Reserve, where the world's largest kayakad trees grow in profusion under an unbelievable mist and rain belt. According to the custom and the strict laws of the tribe, the queen is not allowed to have a husband, but did have around 15 wives. And I explained that the wives are in a conservatory state and not a sexual state. These were chosen for her by the royal council and in general are from the household of the subject chiefs. This strange ritual of bride giving is strictly a form of diplomacy to ensure loyalty to the queen. According to the custom, the queens must eschew public functions. She communicates to her people via her male counselors and indonas, village headmen. Each November, she presides over an annual rain-making ceremony at her royal compound in the Ket Lahakholm village. She never marries, although there were queens that started to challenge that narrative. But she bears children by her close relatives. She is attended to her by her wives, each sent from many villages in the Ga Mojaji. When she is nearing death, she selects her eldest daughter to be her successful, then ingests poison. Yes, the queens, they have this type of ritual suicide that they do. That's just a part of their culture. When they're near death, rather than just die, they speed up the process for some reason. For centuries, many tribes have respected the queen's powers. Even Shaka Zulu sent his top missionaries, including traditional healer Dumisa, to request the queen's blessing. With the influence of Christian monasteries, many of these traditional customs have been discontinued. In June 2001, the ruling queen Mojaji V and her eldest daughter passed away. Currently, the queen's counselors are selecting a new queen to be announced in 2002. Now, this did happen, but there is a controversy in which I'll explain later. So this is a pic of the royal house of Mojaji. And the Mojaji royal house is also rich in natural history. For centuries, the Balobedu have revered the thick forests surrounding the queen's home in Set La Combe, which were used for traditional ceremonies and which are home to the ancient Mojaji Seyades. Recognizing the value of the forest, the queen bequeathed it to the national government, in which declared it an area of protective reserve. Established in 1979, the Mojaji Reserve aims to conserve the Mojaji Seyade, and those are some of the names of the plants that I'm not going to try. It is known in the local dialect as Bofaka. This tree is the symbol of the ICE, which is the Akanga Empowerment Community. The Seyades and cone-bearing evergreen plants native to warm regions, the Mojaji Seyades date back to the Mesozoic or Stone Age about 60 million years ago when the dinosaurs inhabited the earth. The Seyades are actually living fossils, which also stated many dinosaurs' appetites. This species is one of 29 species in South Africa. This reserve contains the greatest concentration of a single species of Seyades in the world. Furthermore, the species is known to reach 13 meters, the highest growth in the world. Due to its protective status, permits must be obtained to prove legal ownership. So you cannot own these plants without a license, so to speak. There are hiking trails, a museum, and various wildlife to be seen, including the blue wildebeest, the limpa, and the water bucks. The ruins of the original compound have been excavated by the UNISA. Archaeologist Sidney Miller. These ruins in Lebelwing village include stone foundations, pottery, and middens. Furthermore, these ruins bear the resemblance to the famous ruins discovered in the Thuamela near the Pafuri in the Kruger National Park in the Great Zimbabwe ruins in southeastern Zimbabwe, lending further credibility to many legends about the origins of the god Mojaji. So they found the same types of things that they found in Zimbabwe at their national park that they found here in this national park. So the origin story may have some credibility and may not just be mythological. So some of the things that they found were the bracelets, the potsherd, a grinding stone, well, a bunch of grinding stones, iron, and single beads. So this is the list of the rulers of the reign queen starting in the 1800s. Now you will see after the sixth reign queen, there was actually a male, and that is because of the controversy that happened with the sixth reign queen and her death. If you look at her reign, it was only 2 years, opposed to the other ones that reigned a lot longer. So with her dying, they had to fill somebody in very quickly, and that's when the prince took reign. Now, supposedly, the eighth reign queen was supposed to take the reign from the prince in 2017. But I don't know if it ever happened, and I can't find any evidence that it did happen. So let's get into the queens. The first Mojaji, she was the first reign queen of the Balobedu people tribe. She reigned from 1800 to 1854. She was succeeded by Mojaji II. She was the daughter of Mogodu, the chief of Kranga, and the princess of the Zungundini. The child became the first Mojaji, was known as Maselek Wane Mojaji I. She lived in complete seclusion deep in the forest where she practiced the secret rituals to make it rain. And she ingested the suicide poison in 1854. So now we have Masalanabo Mojaji II, the second reign queen. She reigned from 1854 to 1894. And she was preceded by Masalekawani Mojaji I. she was succeeded by Ketoan Mojaji III. During the native location policies of the early 1890s, Commandant General Piet Joubert surrounded the Rain Queen's home until she was forced to give herself up. Now, this was a part of history where the legend of the Rain Queens was growing and people wanted to see the Rain Queen. So this general, that was undoubtedly an invader, wanted to force her out. So according to historian Louis Chaguin, he wrote, it would be the first time that white people would see a Rain Queen. However, what happened was not what they expected. After 4 days, an old wrinkled black woman was carried out in a litter accompanied by her chief Indunas to negotiate with the white people. It was great disappointment to the men watching the proceedings of she who must be obeyed. There was not a trace. Now, that phrase, she who must not be obeyed, is one of the Rain Queen's titles. So they're basically saying that she didn't show up and that wasn't her. She was not the woman of legends, and it was told that Joubert presented her with a cappy, which was a bonnet, and a blanket. According to the book Realm of Rain Queen, however, Joubert was not shown the real Rain Queen, but an imposter. So she got away. The third Rain Queen, Kezitoan Mojaji III. She became the third Rain Queen of the Balobedu people. She reigned from 1895 to 1959. She was preceded by Masalambo Mojaji and succeeded by Makomba Mojaji. In 1894, her predecessor, Masalambo Mojaji, committed ritual suicide. Kezitoan was the daughter of Masalambo's sister and became the heir because a Masalambo council had already designated it before Masalambo's death. So this is how she became the Rain Queen. The council elected her, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of information about her. The fourth Rain Queen, Makomba Mojaji. She succeeded her mother, and she reigned until her death. Now, this is the first Rain Queen to be married. Remember, I said earlier that Rain Queens weren't supposed to get married traditionally. Well, around this time, 1905 to 1980, she broke tradition. She married this guy named Andres Maki, with whom she had several children. She was succeeded by her eldest daughter, Mokope Mojaji. So the fourth Rain Queen is very important because this is where they started to break tradition. The fifth Rain Queen. Okay. Mokobe Mojaji was a very traditional in her role as a Rain Queen. She lived in seclusion in the royal compound in the Ket Lahakoni village and followed all the customs the Rain Queens were expected to follow. Mokope Mojaji met and became good friends with the then South African president Nelson Mandela in 1994. Mandela could speak to Mokobe only through the traditional intermediary. Later, they became friends, and Mandela brought the Rain Queen a Japanese car to help her travel up the steep roads to her royal compound. He was then able to meet her in person, and when asked about the Rain Queen, Mandela says she is just like the Queen Elizabeth II. The Queen Mojaji did not answer questions. On other political fronts, Queen Mokope did not support the idea of the ANC. Now, the ANC government was something that came about during her rule, basically as trying to govern the African nations. She did not support the idea of the ANC government, and she believed that its anti-traditional ideas would dilute her authority. However, once the ANC came to power, they treated the Rain Queen with respect. She was even offered an annual salary. She rejected that annual salary, by the way. Mokobe Mojaji had 3 children, including her designated successor, Princess Makhalia. However, Princess Makhalia died in 2001, 2 days before the death of her mother. Queen Mokope died at age 65. Makhalila's daughter Makabo became the next reign queen. Makabo's son, Prince Masofa Edwin Mojaji, died in August 2005. Oh. Now, this is the controversial reign queen right here. She was 6th in line, and her name was Makabo Mojaji. Now, if you remember, the last reign queen selected somebody else to be the reign queen, but she died. So this woman had to take the reins. And this is the only reign queen that we have a picture of as well. So it is believed that she had the ability to control the clouds and the rivers. Makabo was crowned 16th April 2003 at the age of 25 after the death of her predecessor and grandmother. This made her the youngest reign queen in the history of the tribe. Makabo was the daughter of Princess Makhela and was only the reign queen. She was the only reign queen to be formally educated. So she went to school. She was crowned a reign queen in 2003, 2 years after the death of her mother and the previous reign queen and her grandma. Her mother designated a successor, but as we were talked about, died 2 days before her. On the day of coronation, there was a slight drizzle felt, which was interpreted as a good omen. The coronation was elaborate, the ceremony, but it was believed that Makabo accepted the crown reluctantly. So it is believed that she did not really want to be the reign queen. Although respected for her abilities and lineage, Makabo was seen as too modern to be the next reign queen, which may have been why there was such a long delay before she was crowned. The custom dictated that reign queens live reclusive lives, hidden in the royal kraal with the royal wives. Makabo Mojaji, however, liked to wear jeans and t-shirts, visit nearby discos, and watch soap operas and chat on her cell phone. Mojaji also had a boyfriend, David Mogago, who was believed to have fathered her second child. He is the former municipal manager of the Great Letaba local municipality. He is also rumored to have moved into the royal compound to live with her. This caused great controversy with the royal council, and the reign queen is only ever supposed to mate with nobles who the royal council themselves choose. Therefore, Mogago was banned from the village, and the reign queen's 2 children have never been recognized by the council. On the 10th of June 2005, Makabo was admitted to the Polokwane Medic Clinic with then undisclosed illness. She died 2 days later at the age of 27. There's a lot of controversy surrounding the reign queen's death. Some of the villagers believe she died from a broken heart when her lover, David Mogago, was banned from the royal village by the royal council to put an end to their love affair. Mogago himself claims that the royal council poisoned Makabo as they saw her unfit to hold the much revered position of the reign queen. And this was the easiest way to have her removed. The hospital staff believed she died of AIDS, while others are concerned with the disappearance of Makabo's brother, Impa Patala, last seen on the day of Makabo's death. A fire broke out in the local chief's house where Makabo's coffin was being kept before the funeral. The fire was extinguished before Makabo's coffin suffered any damage, but the event seemed to arouse more suspicions of foul play surrounding Makabo's death. Officially, Makabo died of chronic meningitis. Okay, the reign queens in popular culture. You can actually buy this book. It's called She, A History of Adventure. It's by H. Rider Haggard. And it's a novel based around the reign queens. It's the story of a first-person narrative that follows the journey of Horace Holly and his ward, Leo Vinci, to a lost kingdom in the African interior. There they encounter our primitive faces of the natives and a mysterious white queen named Aisha. Remember that name, Aisha, who reigns all powerful. She who must be obeyed. Remember, that's a praise phrase for the Rain Queen. In this work, Haggard developed conventions of the lost world subgenre, which many authors emulated. She is placed firmly in the imperialist literature in the 19th century of England and inspired by Rider Haggard's experiences in South Africa and British colonialism. The story expresses numerous racial and evolutionary concepts of the late Victorians, especially the notions of degradation of the racial decline prominent during this period. In the figure of She, the novel notably explores themes of female authority and female behavior. It was received praise and criticism alike from its representation of womanhood. So this woman wrote a book about the Rain Queens and made the Rain Queen white to sell books. And that's just, that's not uncommon. But remember the name Aisha. Yep, you're reading this right. This is where they got the character Storm from the X-Men from. The Marvel Comics character Storm is a fictional descendant of the Dynasty that produces Rain Queens through a line of a sorceress supreme named Aisha. Many of her ancestors were sorcerers or priestess. Storm's matrilineal powers have been linked to the real-world Rain Queens of the Balobedu, the region from which her sorceress supreme ancestor Aisha hails. The Mystic Arcana series deals with Storm's ancestor Asheki, who worships the Egyptian god Ma'at, also known as Oshtur, the mother of Agamotto. And that is the comic where you can read the Mystic Arcana, Volume 1, Marvel Comics, where it has that information. So here are my references. A lot of this took a lot of work because it's just not wildly talked about with the Rain Queens. You'll find a little bit on Wikipedia, but a lot of these references right here, you're going to have to buy or know somebody that has them. And that is the end of my presentation. So those are the Rain Queens of South Africa. I always get asked, are there any traditional African villages that are ruled exclusively by women? Well, that's why I wanted to present this, because this is one of them. Brother Sean, Brother Kofi, you got any comments?
Nah, man. Excellent presentation. I appreciate you going in. The time you took to put it together, then you kind of slid it in on
Why do people keep saying it? I did not slide anything in. I let y'all know I was working on this presentation.
No, you did. No,
I did.
Thank you, Kofi.
No, you did. I told you that earlier.
Y'all don't pay attention, man. Y'all don't pay attention. See, you was caught up in your presentation, Kofi. That's what it was. Caught up in yours.
Could be. You may have a point there too. You may have a point.
Honestly, I started this presentation a long time ago, but when I went on vacation, I didn't finish it. So I probably started this presentation in July, and I didn't finish it while I was home in August because I was on vacation. So I just picked it back up when I got back to work, and that's probably why y'all don't remember it, because I put it in the chat over 2 months ago, and I just didn't finish it. So I finished it now, and I wanted to present it to the people. Just more of our culture, man. I'm looking in the chat. Zane Montego asked, what were the ritual suicides for? I'm not sure, to be quite honest, but it was something that the Rain Queen just did when they were close to death. But I don't have an answer. I don't know why they all ingested poison. before they died. It's a mystery right now. I'm looking to see any more questions. If there's any questions, let me know.
Ben,
What's up, brother?
when you were just speaking about Storm, I think I heard you mention this before. I think one day we were talking and you had brought that up where her character comes from or whatnot. So
Yeah.
now I see where you okay, now I see. Yeah, you're right. I apologize. You was working on this for a while.
You hear that, Kofi?
I don't believe. I don't believe.
Kofi ain't gonna let you make it, man. Kofi ain't gonna let you make it. Ain't gonna let you make it, boy. It just ain't gonna let you make it.
That bro, man, that story is kind of similar. It seems kind of familiar to the story. I can't even think of the queen. That became over the Mossi Empire. Dang, I can't think of her name right now.
Hold on. Try to. My notes is gonna bother me.
Yeah. But the story King sound, it seemed familiar to her story a little bit. As with the father, things like that. Yeah, I can't think of her name. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of her name.
I'm looking in my. You said a king?
No, the queen. You know the queen.
Remember about Yenenga.
Yeah, her story. Her story is kind of familiar. It sounds kind of familiar to the. Remember the Mossi queen? Well, the Mossi queen that became over. That left her father. They became. They started the Mossi Empire once she left. It's many different. Huh?
I didn't even think of that until you just said it.
Yup, because it's like, she has 3 or 4 different stories. All of them basically similar, but the one you told is almost similar to her story. With the queen leaving and going well, you said she left from Zimbabwe?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It sounds kind of similar.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I might have to look into that, see how many stories start like that. How many stories are similar.
Yeah.
Somebody said, okay, my wife is in the building. Are they Oya's daughters? Well, being that Oya can be linked to storms and rain can be linked to storms, you can definitely say that the energy might be similar. Definitely could be similar to Oya in Ifa. Oya or Yewa in Ifa. When you talk about rain and storms, because in addition to making it rain, they can also bring famine. They can also, to their enemies and move clouds, and that's the narrative. So that definitely has to do with storms, the cloud movement and stuff like that. So yeah, I could say that they have a to the Orisha known as Oya. Somebody says, do I have a favorite rain queen? My favorite rain queen is the one that tricked the Europeans into thinking that was her and it wasn't her. That's my favorite. And he says, I wouldn't think the worshiping of nature is common in all tribes. Oh, brother, you got to get into African traditions then. It's all about nature. Nature, 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 nature.
Man, you put that that post up the other day, I think that a lot of people should go and read that about nature, and then turn around and I see that you're absolutely right. It's you can't do nothing. They don't care nothing about technology. That's a second thought.
They feel like they get their technology from nature. You know, if you it's just technology in another form. Like if I tie a rock around a stick and use it as a spear, that's technology.
Right? That is. That's true.
It's technology. It might not be cutting edge, but it's technology. And at one point, people didn't do that. At one point, the spear was the computer as far as the rage and the newness. You know what I'm saying? So at one point, it was like, man, I need to get me one of them sticks with a rock around it. You see how he killed that hippo with that?
Mm-hmm.
The hard way, man. I need to get me some spears. You know, like so that they just you know, more traditional in their technology.
It's no different than a missile. The spear is no different than a missile. Projectile missile.
Projectiles. Both of them are projectiles.
Yeah.
Definitely are projectiles. Yeah, but in regards to the post I put up, I was citing a book called After God is Dibia by John Ume, and he wrote this book about indigenous Igbo tradition. The tradition is called Odinani. And in their tradition, nature is everything. It says nature is the best scientist, the best teacher, the best, you know, everything by experience through nature. So they were paying homage to nature in this particular book. So that's what Brother Sean is talking about.
You mentioned Buon Basson. I know I'm pronouncing the name wrong. Did one of the queens come from there? I know you mentioned that. Did you mention that?
Where?
Boom. What is it? Diana Basson. How I forgot. I can't even pronounce the name.
About Burkina Faso.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you mention?
They have their own reign queens. So
yeah.
I put in there to paint the narrative that reign queens are not in one particular region. You understand? So they're in Burkina Faso and Ghana. They're in South Africa. You know, you saw the other brother that was in Nigeria. So they're in different pockets of Africa. You know, you're not just gonna go one place and find this. So it's kind of you know, I'm looking for more so I could say that, you know, it's a constant. But right now I found probably about 3 or 4 legends of reign queens in Africa. And
I just mentioned that because of the Bajagon people. And the Bajagon people in that area, they are matriarchic tribe, and the women rule the tribes, and the women ask the men in their hand in marriage. So I just find that interesting. I was thinking, you know, maybe, you know, I don't know. I'm just assuming maybe one of those women might have been, you know, a reign queen, or I don't know. You just mentioned that, and it just made me think of the Bajagon tribe. Those women in that area, also in that area, that also had a matriarch where the women also ruled the society. So it just made me think of them when
you never know. Brother Zane, what is an American rain dance? Oh, you mean like Native American? You said an American rain dance. I was like, what is that? That's a type of stripper? Like, what's an American? What club you go to, bro?
You said a type of stripper. Yeah, I think he's trying to.
Rain dancer. It's American rain dance. I've seen some of them too. I made it rain a couple. No, to answer your question, Native American traditions, although some of their traditions are parallels to African traditions, there's no symmetry in the fact that any connections. Of course, in Native American tradition, they make their rain by dancing. That's where you get the narrative of rain dance from. African people do not dance to make rain. As you can see, the brother, he had his instruments, you know, his musical instruments to call the energy of the rain, and that's what he was doing. Same thing with the rain queens. They don't do any dancing. So, you know, that would be a major difference.
You make a good point. But one thing I've been paying attention to in every book or every piece of literature that I come across when you're dealing with nature and perspective of the Africans, the African thought or philosophy of nature, rhythm was like so important to whatever it is that they do. So like in your presentation, the last Rain Queen was too modern, so to say. So they delayed her for so long because of her modernness. But in some way, she had that rhythm and that same aura as all the other Rain Queens. But was it the fact that she was too modern that ultimately made her wait so long to become a Rain Queen?
You talking about the last one, right?
Yep.
There's a lot of controversy surrounding her death and her rule. I can't say what truly happened to that queen, but my gut is I suspect foul play. And I believe her modern outlook may have played a part in people wanting to get rid of her. Remember, there wasn't a Rain Queen that got married until the fourth one. And then you also have to remember that she was not preparing her life to be a Rain Queen. She was not supposed to be a Rain Queen. So she went to school, she lived her life outside. See, all these other Rain Queens, they picked them up from children and walked them in the process to be a Rain Queen. So they knew their entire lives they would be a Rain Queen. She was not like that. She went out into the world, experienced Western culture, modernization, education outside of her village. And then something unfortunate happens to her sister, and they say, it must be you to lead us. And she like, what? No, got to be somebody else. I can't do this. And they're insisting, right? And then you feel a sense of duty that you have to take care of your people. And it just didn't work out for her. As it said, you know, she only reigned 2 years, died. And I suspect, you know, that it was foul play, although, you know, I can't prove anything like that. But listening to the story, it just doesn't sound like she died of natural causes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and the way that you were defining the Rain Queen is similar to what it has the same characteristics as queen mothers in the African culture, so to say.
Say it again, Brother Sean.
I said the way that you were defining the queen mothers, like the Rain Queens, their role is basically has the same characteristics as queen mothers. You know, yes.
How they wear two hats. They are the rulers, and as it said, you know, they do the annual rain festivals every year to ensure rain on the land. So yes, they are the queens. They are the queen and the king, to be honest, and they are responsible for the crops.
Man, the role women play. Some people, I don't think that they understand that when we like present and we do a lot of stuff, presenting on women in African culture. And I think that people miss out on that point, that the reason we do it is because it shows a side of women that people don't even acknowledge or think exists. And I just want to big up y'all, man, because you stay on it, man. Just, you know, presenting the African woman and continue to pushing her forward as we all try to. And you know, hopefully people that are paying attention to the presentation can peep game and understand that, you know, there is a role that you play in this liberation, and it is equally important, as if not more important, than the man.
Yeah, it's a job. I appreciate that narrative, brother, that you painted, bringing information to our people can be very, you know, difficult at times, but it's worth it.
Kofi, what you got going on, man?
Man, nothing right now, man. I'm finna get out of here in a minute, man.
That ain't what I'm talking about, man. What we doing? You see how he doing, Ben? You see that, Ben?
Tomorrow, you know, after y'all watch this presentation 3 or 4 times a day, and please share this video 3 or 4 times. Tomorrow, we'll be back tomorrow with the Tanzania and Mozambique Makundi people, the master carvers and slave resistant tribe. So that's going to be a pretty interesting presentation tomorrow on that group of people. And then following that evening, we'll come back with the week griots and griots. I'll be presenting twice tomorrow. So that's what I'm on. So, and don't be looking for me in another week or two. Y'all don't be looking for the Kofi Paisa. Don't be looking for me. I'm going mute.
Yeah, all right. we done this before. We done this before. I guess we doing it again. Mr. All right, man, I'm gonna take vacation. Then next week, well, I got one more presentation.
I'll tell you that. I'll tell y'all. I got 3 in the holster. I got 2. That's why I'm doing 2 tomorrow. And I hope the family appreciate. But I think they'll appreciate both of those tomorrow. And then I'm gonna do one more. Somebody suggested in the chat, asked that we do, and that's the more instruments on the continent of Africa. So I'll be shedding some light on which will be my last presentation for a while, which will be on the instruments. So I'm gonna touch on various places on the continent of Africa, and you know, the uses of the instruments and how important music is and dance is. And I'll touch a little bit on those tomorrow too in the griots, because the griots was musicians as well as oral traditionists. So I'll touch on some of those instruments that they also use that I have in the previous presentation also. But y'all watch now. I done told you. Y'all watch. But family, please like and share the show. Please like and share the show.
Yeah, please, man. Share it, man. Share it more than 4 times. Just share it. This is some powerful information, and everybody need to be aware of it, privy to it. So again, Brother Panther, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day, 'cause I know how busy your schedule is, to put this together, bro. And again, you know, the time that you spent into this and putting it forth. And also to the Queen sister, Alima, thank you, sis, for your dedication and sacrifices as well, for allowing your husband to give us a piece of him every day.
Absolutely. Big ups to my queen, Alima. You know, I love you. You know, I support you. We recently celebrated 1 year homeschooling our children. So it's a big milestone for us. And, you know, we're going to keep going, keep being involved in the community, keep putting stuff out there, man. You know, it's difficult, but it's our duty, you know. So I'm certain that she appreciates that shout out, and more to come, man. I got a presentation I'm working on is African Spirituality a Religion? So we are going to go through various categories of religion. We are going to define religion. We are going to go through religions and texts and answer that question. Because you hear people advocate for ATR, which is African Traditional Religion. You hear people say that African is a spirituality, not a religion. You hear people say that it's just like any other religion. Well, we're going to go through that piece by piece, and you will be the judge at the end.
And we need that too, man. We need that presentation bad.
Hopefully, let's see, what's the day? It's Saturday, 22nd. I'll be able to do that next Saturday. Yeah,
Look at the man.
next Saturday, huh?
I said, look at the man. Finna come back. That's all right. That's all right, man. But we need that. On the serious note, we really, it's so much with that going on, and we need it. Look at him. Look at the man.
What's wrong with you, boy, man? Nah, I can't come back to back Saturdays.
Yeah, you can. We've been wanting you to. We've been trying to get you to. We've been trying to. What we talking about?
I don't know. One thing about me, I do not rush myself. If a lot of times I do a presentation, I won't get an idea for another presentation to another couple of months. So when I get an idea, and I actually got this idea when I was in Atlanta at the Black Dot Bookstore in Lithonia, Georgia, 6984 Main Street. If you're in Georgia, go on by there and check us out, home with Honor Rock Squad. But I was talking to Unc and another brother in the bookstore, and we were talking about religion. And I remember getting the idea then. And I was like, you know what? I should do a presentation on that. So, you never know. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know when it's going to come. When it comes, I'm like, oh, yeah, I should do that. But until then, I just kind of like, I just read and study. And then when the idea hits me, So, that's what it is.
Oh yeah, we ain't gonna get y'all. We ain't gonna let you off the hook neither. We waiting on that Poro Society presentation. We ain't gonna let y'all off the hook on that now. I promoted it, and you still like that.
Who I tell you to do that? Who told you to do that?
Yo, it came up. I think when it came up last week.
I moved on to something else. Huh?
It came up last. It came up last week. It came up last week. Yeah, they was asking. Because I mentioned.
Everybody asked about that.
Go ahead.
Who asked?
Oh, Sister Mo, Sister Monica. Somebody else asked about it. Because I mentioned the Bundle Society a lot in that presentation last week. I mentioned other groups, but I mentioned them a lot. And they was like, they wanted the opposite because I mentioned, it was a secret man society. So
they're like, where the secret man?
Yep, exactly. We waiting on Ben. We waiting on Benjamin Njai. We waiting on Blak Pantha.
Man, look, man. I was researching that shit, and something else caught my attention, man. I just left it alone. All right, man. I will do the Poro presentation, man. I gotta go back and try to find that stuff that I found. But yeah, I'll get it out, man. I'll get it out before the end of the year. I'll get it out, man.
Y'all hear that now? We got it on record. It's recorded now. It's recorded. He's gonna do the Poro Society presentation, so it's recorded. It's documented. It's solidified now, so we know we gonna get it. So it's coming, y'all. It's coming.
I didn't know if I knew people was just waiting on it like that. I would I would have did it. I didn't know people was waiting. It's your fault they waiting on it, Kofi.
Exactly.
Groups. Getting across the damn airways that I'm doing a Poro Society. All I did was mention it in the group chat. I was like, I'm gonna do Poro Society. Kofi. Oh. Everybody.
Yep. Yep.
Like, damn, I ain't even started researching.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I appreciate this build. Get this out, family. Get it out. I appreciate everybody that support, who've been liking the page, who've been liking our like page, sharing our content, show up every week. Unexpected. We appreciate all the love, man, and thanks to you guys. We're getting pieces of our information out there, and we're going to continue to keep pushing forward for the people. You heard Ben, he set the agenda, man, and that's what it is. So, Madupe.
We're gonna go on and get off of here, family. I don't want this video to be too long. I don't want to pull a Kofi. We already at an hour.
I'll be an hour to my family. I ain't gonna be no 5 hours like I did. That'll never happen again. Never. Never.
Lies. Lies.
Oh,
you try to dethrone a song. Are you trying to dethrone my brother?
I ain't trying to do nothing.
It was entertaining.
I got the records. I got the 10-hour.
So I did a 10-hour show.
I think it was actually on South Afrika, but it was a saw. Okay, this is what it was. I'm gonna tell this story and we're gonna wrap up. They were talking about something. It was a saw somebody else in South Afrika. I went to sleep. I woke up and said live. And when I clicked on the show, it was Dr. Esau and Celine Faragi and some more new people was on there. I was like, what? And Asar was on there, and I said, what? Y'all ain't go to sleep? Man, this is crazy. Ain't nobody finna watch this. Ain't nobody finna watch that. It was amazing. It was. I couldn't believe I went to sleep for 7 hours and woke up. It was still the show. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. But yeah, let's go on and get up off of here, man. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Odabo, which means goodbye. And until next time, man, Mossi Warrior Clan, Blak Pantha, we coming at you again tomorrow. So stay tuned, man. Peace.